So Mark Sorensen, the head coach, has made a decision here that he wants to have his strongest left side of the diamond, and so he's brought in the Cole Evans, who's an elite shortstop. This is his second World Cup now, into shortstop, and moved Tyrone Ballarella, who has been predominantly the shortstop, as the next best fielder there, into third base. So he's stiffened up that left side here for sure.
To the right side of the infield, Nathan Nukunuku, we saw him play first in the last broadcast we did. He moves back to second, which is natural position. And a good point about Brad Rona at first, bringing size and stretch to the first base.
Yeah, you got it. Brad Rona, he's the biggest man in the squad. And I guess naturally when you're the biggest man, you've got the biggest target to throw. And as you can see out there, there's been light drizzle or rain all day here, so there could be slippery conditions on the ball. So having a bigger man gives you a bigger target, and Brad Rona, with his experience, should scoop up that ball for you every time.
Japan's offense, how do they get started here against a tough defense?
Yeah, so Japan, they, as you said earlier, they're very, very meticulous when it comes to the strike zone. But you'll also notice, if you look at their feet, they stand so close to the dish. Their toes are right on that inside line, almost like they're not scared to be hit, but they have this inside-out swing that allows them to get their hands free, and that's all they're concerned about, is putting the bat on the ball.
All right, and we're set to go. Yusuke Morita, the left fielder, stepping up to the plate, and Josh Pettit ready to go to work here against Japan. And right away, the catcher for New Zealand calls for time, and there may be something wrong with his one pad. No, he gets settled in. Have to be comfortable. That's a hard ball being thrown at you, so you got to make sure everything's in line. He'll flash the signals, and we're ready to go. First pitch of the game on its way. And it comes in high, and Morita a little stunned there, jerked back quickly. And 1-0 is the count. Now, you mentioned rainy conditions here, Jason, and the pitcher's going to have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, he sure will. And Josh Pettit's job right here with his battery mate behind the disc, Van Leeshout, is to establish the strike zone. So he wants to do that early, get a nice low strike zone started up. That's really important. So he's a bit loose on the first pitch. But one thing, Josh Pettit is used to pitching in the rain. He's from Wellington, New Zealand. I'm not saying it rains there a lot. Okay, I am saying it rains there a lot.
1-0 count on Morita. Comes in, slapped to the second base side. Stopped by Nukunuku and one away on the 4-3 play. Masaki Sawada coming up to the plate now. This is game 31 of this tournament. Game getting underway at 5:30 Pacific time here in Whitehorse, Yukon. I'd like to thank George Arcand and his crew. It's been a phenomenal tournament so far. Yes, it's been cloudy and rainy today, but the teams providing some great entertainment. We saw a great Canada-U.S. game last night. New Zealand and Japan now. We have Dominican Republic and Australia coming up a little later on. Second batter takes an outside pitch for a ball. Now, notice how Pettit working on that landing area in the front of the circle. I just finished covering Great Britain and the Czech Republic. Both pitchers there, a little issue with the landing area in front of them. Each pitcher likes their own little spot, so we'll have to keep an eye on how that lasts. And that ball sails high, make it 2-0.
Yeah, you can definitely see that Pettit hasn't settled in yet. He's only thrown one strike and 4 pitches. So, and maybe that landing, I see him working with it, as you say, is an issue. And once they get that under control, then hopefully the efficient location comes.
2-0 pitch. That's called strike in the outside part of the plate, 2-1. Pettit still not happy with where that spot is, where that front foot comes on the pitch.
Steve, just looking at the infield here, they've got a different format with Nukunuku up by the pitcher with the lefty. So that's a different fielding strategy that you see sometimes. Instead of back in the back in the hole in the position, he's right up.
We saw that with Canada and I believe it was Argentina earlier in the tournament, where the second baseman came right up beside the pitcher to eliminate any of those short slap hits.
Yeah, you got it. You'll be there until there's 2 strikes like there is now. Now he's going back a little bit further.
Swing and a miss. Pettit strikes out Sawada for the second out of the inning. And Yusuke Tokoi, the right fielder, coming to the plate now. Where's number 8? Plays number 9 in the outfield.
Surprise, surprise, hits from the left side.
Decent crowd here for this contest. Both teams bringing a contingent of fans with them, and some of them starting to arrive yesterday for the latter stages of the tournament.
Yeah, they have for sure, and it's great to see. I see a couple of Japanese supporters over there with some flags on the top of their heads, and that's just pretty. How cute is that, kid? I mean, oh my God, we got a superstar in the making.
1-0 pitch coming in, swing and a foul off by Tokoi, and the count 1-1. That may have been out of the strike zone, but Tokoi couldn't hold back, and he'll have to regroup.
Yeah, on the other side of those supporters, the New Zealand supporters are starting to swell. Oh my God, there are so many of them that have made the trek up here from New Zealand. It's a fair way to Canada, and especially not just Canada, but the Yukon, where Whitehorse is. It's a long way. Brad Rona's wife, the first baseman, starting first baseman, Amanda, she arrived today, and as well as Wayne Laolu's wife, Trina, she arrived today. I think they arrived at 4 a.m. in the morning, and so they made that trek 36 hours of flights and travel they had to do to get here. But you know what? They love fast pitch softball, and we love them being here.
1-1 count on the batter right now, 2 away in the top of the first inning. Steve Sabbert and Jason Gerbies along with you for this game featuring 1 and 2 in the world in men's softball. Pitch comes in, poked over the head of the shortstop, Cole Evans, and a little flare to left field gives the Japanese squad its first runner of the game. And Haikuru Matsuda, the DP, coming up. And funny enough, we talk about the Japanese and always coming up from the left. Matsuda, the right-hander in this lineup, and he can hit for power.
Yeah, he sure does. I think the reason why he's still a right-handed hitter, because they convert them to left, that's what they do in Japan, is because he does hit for power. And basically, I think the coach says, whatever you want to do, Matsuda, you do it.
So with the runner at first base, 2 away here, Matsuda at the plate. And there's a little motion from the batter as he waves to the crowd in the backstop, gets himself settled in. And Pettit will go to work. That sails high for ball number 1. Tokoi at first on his hit. Don't know if they'll send him or not. 2 away. You got a big stick at the plate.
Yeah, Japan will use a running game for sure at some stage. Maybe not on this exact position. And New Zealand have a great arm behind the dish and Van Leesh out. So it's a matchup.
There's a foul off by Matsuda as that rise ball climbed, and Pettit just does not look comfortable landing there in the circle. Looking back at his second baseman, talking to him. Rona dries off the ball. Again, not pristine conditions by any means when you play ball in the rain, but we've all been there, and you just have to buckle down and make the best of it.
Yeah, Matsuda went at that rise ball there. Oof.
And that comes in for a strike as Pettit brings the ball down a little bit, make it 1-2.
That's the best pitch Pettit's thrown so far in this match. Down and away, clipping the edge of the plate, and pretty much unhittable location. So good on him there. But this is a matchup for sure on top of the first innings.
1-2 delivery swung through by Matsuda. And they strand the runner at first base. So no runs, 1 hit. Runner left on, no errors for New Zealand as we head to the bottom of the first. No score. More to come on Sports Canada TV. Bottom of the first inning, we go, no score. New Zealand coming up to the plate. They'll lead it off with the shortstop, Cole Evans. Second baseman, Nathan Nukunuku at second. Thomas Inoka batting third and left. Brad Rona, the first baseman in the cleanup. Wayne Laulu, the designated player, batting fifth. Callan Campaign, the right fielder, batting sixth. Tyrone Bottarillo, the third baseman, batting seventh. Zane Van Lieshout, the catcher, batting eighth. And Campbell Inoka batting ninth. In center field, Josh Pettit, of course, the pitcher, and will not bat. For Japan and their defensive setup, Yusuke Morita in left, Naoki Kawada in center, Yusuke Tokoi in right, Yusuke Itozi at third, Leo Koshikia at shortstop, Masaki Sawada at second base, Daishi Yuramoto at first, Teo Karaoka as the catcher, and Hayami Takahashi is the starter for this afternoon. And talking about Takahashi, what do we expect from the Japanese pitcher early on?
Yeah, Takahashi, he's their ace with Matsuda. They have a really unique style where they crouch down, hand goes back, and then it's just like a spring uncoils itself, and he delivers the ball. But Japan have always been effective pitchers that pitch to location. I don't expect anything different from Takahashi this afternoon.
All right. They're ready to go as Cole Evans steps up to the plate. Itozi getting settled in at third, and Takahashi will throw his first pitch of this game this afternoon.
Yeah, the big news right here is that Cole Evans is the new leadoff hitter for New Zealand. Ben Onoka now not being able to play, and so it's great to see this young star getting a chance in the biggest game of his life right now at the leadoff.
Takes the strike as Takahashi pinpoint accuracy on his first pitch, changes speeds there, and gets Cole Evans swinging for a quick 0-2 count, and both sides getting very loud, fans and benches, and that's what you love to hear at a ball game. 0-2 on Evans. Takahashi finds it, and Evans will go and have a seat caught looking to lead off the bottom of the first, and now Nathan Nukunuku.
Wow, I'll tell you what, Takahashi was happy to get that strikeout. He took about 4 or 5 steps down the pitching path there and let out a big hi-ya as he threw that in there. So he is pumped for this one.
Nathan Nukunuku, a long-time member of this New Zealand team. Met him back in 2008 as they traveled Southern Ontario. And another strike from Takahashi.
Yeah, Nathan Nukunuku here. He's a veteran of this is his 6th World Cup for New Zealand. But an interesting fact about Nathan Nukunuku here is that he spent a lot of time in Japan. He's fluent in Japanese. I just saw him having a little conversation with the catcher there, Kataoka, and that would have been in his fluent language. So it's great that he knows that knowledge to be able to communicate.
0-1 count on Nukunuku, and Takahashi finds the outside corner, and he is on target early here. But when you talk about mechanics, he looks very, very sound. Nukunuku able to get a bat on the ball there. That's fouled away, 0-2 on the batter.
Yeah, the Japanese pitchers have every single pitch, and they're not afraid to use every single one. But you'll find one of the traits of the Japanese team is sometimes they'll go through a lot of pitches in a game. A bit more like baseball, if you like. So you'll always see someone warming up down the sideline all the time.
0-2 count, and that sails in high for ball number 1. One and two pitch is high, make it 2-2. Steady rain today in Whitehorse started around 11 o'clock and has continued through the day. The ground crew has done an excellent job to keep the diamonds rolling here. About 8 degrees Celsius, a little chilly. 2-2, and that's going to come in just outside, and the catcher wanted that call, but no go, and a 3-2 count on the batter now.
Yeah, interesting point about the weather. This temperature that we're currently playing at 8 degrees is exactly what the temperature is in New Zealand. So the New Zealand players are used to it, but the Japanese are not. It's 32 degrees in Japan at this time of the year, so they will be adjusting to the weather. They're obviously wearing undershirts to keep warm, and it'll be interesting to see how the pitchers go adjusting to the cooler climate.
3-2 count on Nuku. And getting a new ball in play here is Takahashi. Infield confidently going back to their spots. One away here in the bottom of the first inning, New Zealand's first at-bats of the game. And Takahashi lost the handle on that one. He knew it as soon as he released it. And Nuku's going to take the walk. So he's on board for Thomas Inoka, the left fielder. Talking with Thomas today at the hotel. The New Zealand team staying in the same accommodations as we are. It's always nice to catch the players off the field a little more relaxed. So Thomas Inoka will get his instructions. Nuku at first base. Any chance of a steal attempt here?
Yeah, New Zealand, they're all about applying pressure. And Mark Sorensen, he's a legend, Black Sox in his playing career, and he definitely likes to push the button when it comes to applying pressure, whether it means putting the ball down or hit and run or steal. You don't know which one he's going to pick, but you can tell you what, he'll pick one of them.
Nuku holds on that first delivery, taken for a ball by Inoka. Takahashi fires in a strike, evens up the count at 1-1. Japanese flags hanging to our right along the first base line. Again, fans in to watch the game. And now Nathan Nuku may have pulled a little something. He'll take a trot down the first baseline to make sure everything is okay. That's the other thing about this cold, damp weather, Jason, is the sudden starts and stops hard on the body.
Yeah, sure is. And Nathan Nuku's a veteran. He knows if I need a little bit of time, I'm going to take it. It could have been that for himself. He may also think he want to give his batter a little bit of time and break up the rhythm of Takahashi.
There's a shot to short. Caught Nuku. No, not double up. And a great play by the Japanese shortstop Ryoa Koshiakiya as he made a great catch off the liner, but also had the presence of mind to throw it to first, and Nuku just getting back.
Nuku heads up play there, but Toshikiya at shortstop. What a play going to his right side, snagging that hard line drive there off the bat of Inoka. But up next, big bad Brad Rona.
First baseman for New Zealand in the cleanup spot, and they keep it high on big number 15. So 2 away here, no score in the bottom of the first. Takahashi some work ahead of him here. And shot to the shortstop, and they'll have to go to first, and they'll get Rona trotting down the first baseline. And Koshiakiya didn't come up with it clean, but stayed in front of the ball, made the play. Rona erased on the 6-3 throw. So, and a little bit of a grouping in front of the Japanese dugout.
Yeah, look, this is one of the things I love about the Japanese culture. They have so much respect. After every fielding innings, they come in, they take a huddle. The head coach will speak to them. They're so respectful. They say, "Thank you, sir, for the information," and then they go in the dugout. I love the Japanese program. I tell you what, a lot of teams could learn from their respect of this great game of ours.
Well, it's still no score in the bottom of the first. No runs and no hits for New Zealand. There was one walk. The runner was left on base. No errors. We head to the top of the second. More coming up on Sports Canada TV. Going into the top of the second inning, it's no score between Japan and New Zealand. Leading off, Daishi Yuramoto, the first baseman. And Josh Pettit back out for his second inning of work. Swing and a miss by Yuramoto on a good outside pitch. Nathan Nukunuku with the dirty knees now after having to slide back into first on that line drive catch back in the bottom of the first inning. Looks good on the whites. Swing and a miss for strike number 2. And Pettit comes out with a bit of a mission here in the top of the second inning. Van Lieshout talking to the umpire for a second. They'll settle things in.
It would be an interesting concept of being able to keep that dialogue going here. We've got a German umpire. Now, this would definitely be the biggest ball game he's ever called behind the dish there. But just being able to dialogue and understand each other, and Lieshout and also the catcher from Takaoka from Japan, their relationship with each other, I guess the Japanese would be even harder, being able to speak to each other. We're very important part of this ball game.
2-2 now the count after that pitch to the outside. And that's always a tough job for the catcher because you have to manage your pitcher, you have to manage your team on the infield, and you also have to manage the umpire behind you. So it's a three-pronged attack for anybody who likes to sit behind the plate.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to have the most intelligent person in your team behind the dish and the catcher. And it's got nothing to do that I was a catcher, and I'm saying that, but it is important that he is an intelligent person.
3-2 the count now on the leadoff batter for the Japanese in the top of the second inning, Daishi Yuramoto. Japan was able to get a base runner in the first, but stranded him at first base. And that's going to catch the outside corner for a punch out. And Yuramoto looked back at the umpire, but will trot back to his dugout. Naoki Kawada, the center fielder, coming up to the plate now.
Yeah, nice efficient pitch there, low and away, right on the corner, and that's what you need to be at this level, playing the world #2 team, Japan. You have to be precise. If you're not, Japan are going to hurt you in a hurry.
Kawada setting himself up, and as you said, those toes hitting that front line of the batter's box. You don't see too many players brave enough to encroach the plate that much. Strike is called as it sails in. This game between the top two teams in Section B of the WBSC Softball World Championship. Oh, look out! And Kawada is hit in the hand. Grimaces, of course, that does not come in gently, and the trainer coming out immediately to check his hand area. Pitch got away from Pettit on the inside. No intention whatsoever. I mean, that was just an inside pitch that sailed.
Yeah, no intention at all. And to be fair, Steve, with where their batting position is, you mentioned their toes on the line, his hands are actually over the plate. So that wasn't in the strike zone. It was above the strike zone, but it actually wasn't inside. And that's one of those things the Japanese players are going to get hit quite often. Funny enough, the weakness for the Japanese player is actually on the outside corner for some reason. And that's because they open their hips to get their hands inside the body nice and early. But, yeah, in this case, sometimes the high inside or just high on the edge of the plate, that's going to hit him in the hands for sure.
Well, he's at first on the hit by pitch, so Kawada will watch his teammate Kataoka, the catcher, come up. And that's slapped to the left side in left field. That's a fair ball caught by the left fielder, and that's going to send Kataoka back to first base. So a fly out to Thomas Sanoka for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, there you go. There's an example. Put that ball on the outside part of the zone. Japanese don't adjust to that too well. And as you can see, it's a pop-up. It's not too deep. And bread and butter for Thomas Sanoka underneath that one.
Leo Koshiakia, now the shortstop. Defensively sound in the bottom half of the first, and now his first at-bat of this game. And that comes in just a little high, or it's called a strike. No, it's a ball. It is a ball. That's what I thought.
Yeah, umpire Solmes is doing a good job there. They looked like it was just up the top of the zone. So he's the closest man with the best view, and we'll just let him sit in there and drive the bus.
There's a pitch. Van Lieshout keeping an eye on the runner. 2-0 is the count on the batter.
Yeah, Kawada might have got hit in the hand there down at first base. Nothing wrong with his feet. His last lead was early off the bag, and maybe the first base umpire, Jason Carter from Australia, missed that one.
2-0 delivery, and the runner was taking off. Looked like a hit and run setup, but a foul off will send the runner back to first.
Yeah, Kawada again there. Got an early jump off the bag before the pitch is delivered, but he got away with that foul ball, and he gets to go back and reset. And we know Jason Carter's a great umpire, and I'm sure he'll get the next guy next time.
2-1 on the batter right now. And fouled away by Koshiakia once again. See what you mean, Jason, by when they swing through the zone and that front hip clears to the right field line, right? And tough to get any solid contact on the outside corner.
Yeah, you're right. The only way they want to normally go to the left side is weak anyway, because they look at the bunt it or slap it that way. So they're happy to give up the power to the left-hand side of the field.
2-2 the count now. Pettit with the delivery. And swing and a miss on that rise ball. And that will sit down the Japanese and end the top of the second inning. So no runs, no hits, a hit by pitch left on first base. No errors for New Zealand. We are scoreless, headed to the bottom of the second. More coming up on Sports Canada TV. No score going into the bottom of the second. Japan and New Zealand. Steve Sabbert along with Jason Gerbies for this broadcast and our Sports Canada TV crew. And it's Wayne Laulu stepping up as a designated player.
Yeah, Wayne Laulu, born and bred, from the Wellington area, the Miramar club down there, and he is built for power. If you haven't seen him play before, his bat speed is unreal. I say the first time I don't normally see him with batting gloves, but I guess with the damp weather, he's wearing some today, and he's a dangerous hitter in any weather.
Hayami Takahashi back for the second inning of work. And delivers a strike, and Takahashi has some whip on his ball today.
Takahashi looks good. We said at the beginning of the broadcast he's about finesse and hitting location. He is not disappointed.
There's a swing and a miss by Laulu as he stares out to the pitcher. He was fooled on that one. So 0-2 quickly. And slammed down to the third base side. Nice pickup, throw to first, and they get him as Itoze was playing that line and made the nice snag. And Laulu is the first out of the inning.
Yeah, these Japanese fielders are leading. Itoze there with a hard hit ground ball down the line. He took that with ease, and that's not an easy play to make, I'll tell you, Steve. And with a great throw to first base, gets the first out for Japan.
Callan Campaign coming up now, the right fielder for New Zealand. That comes in and is called the ball.
Yeah, the interesting part of the Black Sox lineup here, we've got Callum Campaign and Tyrone Bartarello. Collectively, between the two of them, they've got 6 home runs, so they bring a lot of power. Campaign brought into the team as a catcher because of his home run power. He hit the grand slam yesterday off Carl Linton of Great Britain. He finds himself starting in right field and now in the lead of the order in the 6th spot.
2-0 pitch coming up. Compagne, a swing and a miss for strike number 1. Off the plate, second baseman has to charge, makes a good play, and a quick throw to first to make the out. Masaki Sawada, and we talked about this in an earlier game, Jason, is that so important as an infielder to charge the ball and not back up on it.
Yeah, Sawada, what an elite play right there. He didn't just charge the ball, he came a long way to get that, and in the end made that play look easy, but I'll tell you what, that was not an easy play.
Bonarello now stepping up to the plate, the third baseman for New Zealand. Had the pleasure of watching him sock 3 home runs in an earlier game of the tournament. Changeup comes in, look for the swing down at the third base side. No, he did not swing, and that will go for a ball. Kataoka, no hesitation on that, asking for the appeal. Pitch comes in a little high, and the count pushes to 2-0. Constant communication by the teams on the infield. You saw that with New Zealand earlier and Japan here. Always talking after a pitch, making sure everything's aligned. Fouled off for strike number 1.
Yeah, just a little late cut on that one by Bonarello. Not quite getting the barrel through the zone to that ball, but it's a little hard when you've got someone with the finesse of Takahashi who can hit both sides, change the velocity of the pitch. Trying to get the timing and picking up the rotation is the key in the situation.
So the umpire coming up to the pitcher's circle here, telling the group to get going. Catcher coming back to the plate. Two and 1 pitch. That's taken for a strike. Even up at 2-2.
Just also looking down there, Steve, in the batter's box, it looks a little slushy actually. So the footing in there for the hitters, if it's not solid, that can be quite difficult to hit on. That's
lifted to center field, and it's going to be Kawada hauling it in for the third out of the inning. So New Zealand goes in order. No runs, no hits, no errors for Japan on the field. We remain scoreless going to the top of the third. More to come up on Sports Canada TV. We go to the top of the third. Japan will bring up its 9th batter of the lineup in Yusuke Itoze, the third baseman, who made a nice defensive play on Wayne Laulu in the bottom half of the second, fielding a hot shot down the third base line and making the throw to first. So it'll be Itoze and then the top of the order for Japan, and Morita and Sawada, the number 1 and 2 hitters. Josh Pettit in for his third inning of work. The rain, as you can see, steady here throughout the afternoon, but the teams have pushed through. Fans have tucked themselves in with raincoats, blankets, and umbrellas. Pitch on the inside, and that's going to be a ball. Encouragement from the Japanese dugout to their hitter, Itoze. Swing and a miss as Pettit changes speeds on that one. One-on-one pitch Delivered here. And that comes in for a strike. Make it 1-2.
Pettit starting to settle down there. You can see hitting his location on the outside of the plate, and that's just what New Zealand needs as the rain starts to get a little heavier here at Whitehorse.
1-2 pitch, slap to the third base side, and that'll be a foul ball.
Yeah, Steve, we're talking a little bit about the Japanese batting stance and how they attack the ball. And one of the reasons I believe that they use this stance and they open their hips early is they're not built, they're not big men in Japan, and they need to use every part of their body to generate power. So I believe they use their legs, their hips, their torso, everything they can possibly to give them that edge. And so that's how they get their power to hit it to the pull the ball. Like I said, normally going the other way is a problem for them on the outside of the dish.
1-2 on Itoze here, the leadoff batter of the top of the third inning. And that's too far inside, 2-2. Pettit showing his displeasure. How much does the rain, Jason, affect certain pitches? Are there ones that are affected more than others?
Yeah, I think it's up to each of them, I suppose, how they handle it. But you'll see them trying to dry the ball, and they'll use maybe some rosin there to give them that grip again. And some pitchers are used to it, some are not. Some just can't pitch in the rain at all. And, they're like, come on, coach, don't put me in. I just can't do it.
Pettit here with a 2-2 count on the leadoff batter of the top of the third inning. Japan's third baseman, Itoze. And that's thrown in and just missed. So make it 3-2 now.
Yeah, just on that, though, Josh Pettit, he's from Wellington, and they're the luckiest city in New Zealand, gets the most rain in our country. So he's used to pitching in the rain, so hopefully that's not such an issue for Josh.
3-2. And slap to the shortstop side. Nice play by Evans, and thrown into the dirt. Brad Rona couldn't hold on to it, and the Japanese leadoff man is aboard. And that was a tough play for Evans. And we'll see what the scorer marks that down as, but ranging to his third base side and a very speedy runner.
Yeah, it was right in the 5-6 hole. Evans, he's an elite shortstop we talked about. He managed to get all the way over to his right side to get that, and then got as much as he could on the throw. And if you're throwing the ball while you're moving away from your target, you lose a lot of velocity, and that drops short. And unfortunately, Big Brad Rona couldn't make the pick on that one.
So with the leadoff man aboard, it's Yusuke Morita, who grounded out to the second baseman in his first at-bat back in the first inning. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss, and that was a big cut by Morita. No doubt what he was trying to do there.
Yeah, Japan, the reason they're the number 2 in the world, they're a very intelligent team. Not just the great players, but an intelligent team. And right there, they're thinking, they're going to bunt it? Nope, I'm going to swing. Game of chess.
There's a swing and a miss as Morita's quickly down 0-2. And Pettit making sure that landing area in front of the circle is solid enough for him. Can't take too much time. That clock counting down for the pitchers. They get 20 seconds. I don't think the umpire had reset it. There we go. Pitch comes in. Took some speed off, make it 1-2. Pettit wants his catcher to come out for a little bit of a discussion.
Yeah, good to see there. Pettit, he wants to make sure that Van Lieshout and himself are on the right page. And, they will have a strategy for each one of these Japanese batters. The New Zealand Black Sox staff are very efficient. They do a lot of homework. They take a lot of video of their opposition players, and they'll have a specific way that they want to pitch against each player when there's a runner on or there is no runners on base. So Pettit is good here. He's taking his time to talk to his battery mate, Van Lieshout, and now they're on the same page. He's still ahead in the count here. So let's see what they've got to go.
1-2 with Itozi on first base. And swing and a miss, and nice grab by the catcher to squeeze it after that foul tip. That'll go down as a strikeout for the first out of the inning. The official scoring on that shot to the shortstop side was a throwing error on the shortstop. So Itozi on the error. And now coming up to the plate is Masaki Sawada. And the infield of New Zealand chatting around what to do. And we've got a substitute already, pardon me, is Kota Mera stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, one thing about the Japanese team, they have a big squad here. They always carry large numbers, and they're not afraid to use everyone in their squad. And a good example of that right here, runner on, one down. Let's bring in a pinch hitter.
Well, Masaki Sawada, the starting second baseman, struck out in the first inning, so Kota Mera stepping up. Bats from the right side of the plate. Still the runner at first base with one away here in the top of the third.
Yeah, that'd be the only downside to the move here. You've gone from a left-hander to a right-handed batter, but you know what? It's Japanese call, and they'll go with it.
Punch to the third base side. Mera quick to spin on that one. Josh Pettit trying to kick the dirt out of his cleats. That's the other thing. As the diamond gets a little wetter there, Jason, is the dirt starts to clump in your cleats and you can't get a firm landing.
Yeah, you may not have played here, ladies and gentlemen, before around the world in certain locations. In that landing zone, because it gets torn up so much in a major tournament like this, they put a product in there that's made predominantly of clay so they can compact it to make it nice and firm again. The downside to that is if it rains, it can get a little cloggy on the underside of your feet, and that's what Josh Pettit is going through right now.
0-2 on Mera quickly as the pinch hitter has dug himself a hole. Pettit's delivery comes in high, and the count pushes 1-2. Have yet to see the Japanese attempt to steal. Itozi sitting right at first base, but I'm sure Van Lieshout asking his teammates to let him know if the runner starts moving. 1-2 delivery, and off the home plate area, fouled off.
Steve, just had a message come in here from Josh Davidson. He was an Aussie Steeler in his day. He's now moved to Auckland, New Zealand. He's going to play his ball this summer for the great club of Northcote there in New Zealand. He's just asked, where is the crowd for this game? Well, we're on Diamond 2. The other diamond next to us is Diamond 1. And playing right now there is the host Canada. So there'll be a big crowd over there. They're taking on Hong Kong over there at the moment. So but as soon as that game's finished, sure bet that they'll be over for this fixture, 1-2 in the world.
1-2 count on the batter, Mera. And that's thrown in outside, and the count now 2-2. That's where the catcher wanted the pitch, and that's where it was delivered, but just outside of the strike zone. Something going on, the umpire waving back to the
I was just
scorekeeper's
making sure,
booth.
I think, making sure that the 20-second clock had been reset properly and making sure that we're on target.
2-2, and it comes. There goes the runner. Van Lieshout throws it into the outfield, but Itozi was sliding in and couldn't pop up quick enough, and the throw from the catcher sailing over the second base bag.
Yeah, it's Ozzy showing for the first time today the speed of the Japanese on the base pass. And I didn't matter if that throw was on target. He was going to steal that base. You could see he would have beaten the throw anyway. And Van Lieshout obviously getting a little bit of moisture on that ball. That ball just sailed to the outfield. But as all good teams do, Kamalanoka backing it up. Itozi stays at second base, nothing hurt.
That was a good jump off first by Itozi. 3-2 now the count, and now New Zealand coach Mark Sorensen talking with the home plate umpire.
Yeah, I think a little bit of this maybe to do with the weather. The rain has got heavier here. He doesn't want anyone to get hurt. And you can see there are some handling issues with the ball, especially when they're throwing it so fast these days, right? I mean, Josh Pettit gets it down there in a hurry. And, you know, Mark Sorensen's got a responsibility to look after his team out there. And you can see a couple of places starting to kind of well up with a bit of water.
Yeah, especially underneath the second base umpire, starting to muddy up pretty good there in the field. Batter's box is looking a little mushy. 3-2 pitch coming in, and that shot to left field, and Anoka slipped. The first run of the game is going to be scored. Throw into second base, and Itozi scores from second and make it 1-0 Japan on a solid hit from Kotamira. And it almost looked as Anoka tried to make the first move on the hit. He lost his footing in the outfield, and that allowed the line drive to sink in.
I tell you, that's called Murphy's Law right there. Sorensen coming out to talk about the weather, and very next pitch, and here he is coming down to find out what's happening here. The very next pitch gets hit to the outfield, and Inoka slips over because of the weather. And this is all to do with the weather here in this situation, and Mark Sorensen knows, I don't want to go up any runs in this ball game. This is number 1 and 2 in the world, and this weather is starting to affect the outcome of this game.
So the next Japanese batter coming to the plate, the Japanese coach talking with the tournament officials here as well. It was a well-struck ball by Mira. Whether or not Inoka had a play on it, tough to say. It's always a what-if situation, but the one thing Inoka did do was make the solid throw to second base to keep the runner at first. But now the New Zealand players walking off the infield right now, expecting them to call a delay of the game, bringing in the translator here for Japan, and they'll talk, and they're asking the players to go to their dugouts, and it looks like we're going to get suspended play here to determine a little more of what's going to go on. Again, some steady rain through the afternoon.
Yeah, you know what, Steve? We have some great umpires here. These are the best umpires in the world, and they come from all over the world. We mentioned Somers from Germany, Carter from Australia, Sinek from US, Falcone from Venezuela, and List from Czech Republic. You couldn't cover the world map any better, but they come with experience, and they know right now it's not a good idea to be out there. Sorensen's not happy that it went one pitch too long, but you know that happens sometimes, and these teams will go into their dugout for a little bit while I'm sure the weather will come down a little bit better. And you can see on the video there, we've got one of the New Zealand supporters protecting himself with a flag there. And this guy who's on the screen right now is actually a little bit of a cult legend in New Zealand. His name is Sonny Law. He travels the world. He's an accountant in Auckland, New Zealand. He only works half of the year, and the other half, he travels around to watch New Zealand sports teams. He has nothing to do with fast pitch softball. Last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago, he was in Bermuda for the America's Cup. That's the yachting regatta where Team Emirates New Zealand were victorious over Oracle from the USA to lift the America's Cup. They took that cup back to New Zealand. Man, they had this massive parade down the main street of Auckland. The whole country stood still during that time, and unfortunately the weather was a little bit like this on that day, I'm told. I was actually flying here at the time, but yeah, this guy Sonny Law, he flies around. Predominantly he used to follow the cricket all over the world, but now he'll go to rugby matches. This is his second World Series, I believe, he's been to for the softball, and it's just great to have these spectators here and being passionate about their country.
All the officials in behind home plate talking a little more as we are in a rain delay here in Game 31 between New Zealand and Japan. The Dominican Republic and Australia scheduled to start at 7 tonight, but